we were talking with some investors that are breaking into multifamily properties, and they were trying to figure out analysis and generally what do they need just to get started. What we like to have just to do our basic analysis is to get from either the broker or direct to seller. The seller is a T12, which is the trailing 12 months of financials, which basically will show how the property is operating on a month-to-month basis for the last 12 months. It's not year on year unless you're getting it in January, but it gives you the last 12 months. And along with that is the rent roll, showing you the current rent roll. And that rent roll will basically be a list of all the tenants, their monthly payment, what they've actually paid, and the market rate, what is supposedly the market rate for that same unit, a deposit if they're holding a deposit, and maybe have if they have some late payments or some other things or some other fees on there as well. And past that, if we can get, and it depends if it's done by a broker or not, in OM, an operating memorandum, just giving more context on the property and a more description on the area. Those would be the three things on a basic level that we would want to get for our analysis. And we could back our way in without that, but our preface always to sellers or brokers is if we don't at least have the T12 and rent roll, we're going to make assumptions. And those assumptions will be better how specific we are with the area. But ideally, knowing what the property is doing, we're able to give them a more outlined offer if it makes sense to us, and really just have less questions, even though we're going to ask a ton, coming to the initial talk about their property in general. So that's what we would do to get started right there. At least have those basic items and asks, and they're not too much to ask. So if someone can't give them to you, I would think that may be a good thing, because they're not maximizing their properties, and maybe there's opportunities, but you're going to have to at least know the area very well, or rely on property managers and brokers, which you should anyway, to help you understand what your expenses are, what your income drivers are, and ideally the advantages, upsides, and possible downsides to the property.